Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome and welcome back to another fun-filled edition of Soap Lore. I'm your host, Jet, still viewing and reviewing the soapiest, suzziest primetime storylines of 1985. We're still on the West Coast doing the absolute most and one of the best slow-burn episodes of any vintage primetime soap opera I've ever seen. So whether you're new to this or true to this, sit back and enjoy. Tell the kids it's time to play outside or out of sight. Tell babe no questions, suggestions, or concerns for the next 25 to 35 minutes. Everyone else in earshot, you can be cool, quiet, or kicked out. Only options you've got, baby, so choose wisely. Because we are watching our stories. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Soap Lore. Hello, gorgeous. Welcome or welcome back to another fun-filled edition of Soap Lore. I hope your day is shaping up well, because mine is fantastic. I have just watched one of my favorite episodes of Falcon Crest yet. I know we're early in the season, but the build-up on this one, oof, chef's kiss. Go ahead and pour yourself up something bubbly and bright. I'm not going to dilly-dally too long before we jump into this. We got a little bit of fan mail. It is the opportunity for me to clear the air just a little bit before we jump into Season 5, Episode 7 of Falcon Crest, Changing Partners. Once again, they do not express creativity at all when it comes to these titles. After you watch it, you realize, okay, yeah, this is absolutely the name of this. It makes all the sense in the world. I tend to believe they didn't announce this beforehand. I would hope that if you were watching this in real time, you had the opportunity just to embrace the episode before you figured out what the title was. I can admit if I watch something on Netflix or even Real Housewives, I don't really pay attention to the title. I'm just watching it. So first things first, I want to thank you guys for being the absolute best audience I could ever hope for. You have been kind. You have been patient. You have been extremely generous with your knowledge, and not a single one of you has blown up any television show spot. Although there's several seasons, I think it'd be kind of hard to destroy everything. You've been meticulous in your information to me, and I appreciate it every single time. Especially when your girl is loud and wrong and shameless. To me, that's just par for the course when you're watching something you've never seen. I have opinions. I have thoughts. But I swear this one kind of rocked my world. My brain chemistry was changed after this. So do you remember the last time, or the last couple of times we watched Falcon Crest? I go on and on about Apollonia, and I'm singing, that's right, pleased to meet you. Still won't tell you my name. That's still my jam. I don't care what nobody say. Tell me why I had everybody's identity completely mixed up. I am in shambles right now. Shout out to Kip for getting your girl together in the most polite way. Kip educated me on the history of Vanity 6 and Apollonia 6. I had no idea Apollonia 6 was a thing. Also, if this doesn't sound too crazy, I'm recording on a phone today. I just could not wait to hook everything up. Kip says, I think you're getting Apollonia and Vanity mixed up in some ways. Vanity, from the group Vanity 6, sang the song Nasty Girl from 1982. And also in the 1985 film Last Dragon. That was Vanity, also known as Miss Denise Matthews. Both Apollonia and Vanity favor each other in looks, and both worked with Prince. The group Vanity 6 was first during the pre-production of the 1984 film Purple Rain. Vanity was out of the music group and acting in the Purple Rain film. Later, Apollonia was hired in the film Purple Rain and joined the music group, renamed Apollonia 6. The rest is history. Nice review. Thank you, Kip. I appreciate that. Okay, so first and foremost, did not realize there were two groups. You just blew my freaking mind. I feel like you just told me my mom's name is Bernice. That's not her name. I feel all out of sorts. I feel like I thought I lived in Texas this whole time. Turns out I've been in eastern New Mexico. It is so weird. So you are telling me that Miss Denise Matthews is not Apollonia? I didn't realize these were two separate people. When I said her voice is like embedded into my head, it is. It is, because I definitely saw The Last Dragon so many times. I could visualize her moving around on the screen. I've heard the song from Vanity 6 100 million times. I just thought Apollonia was a girl in Vanity 6. In my mind, Prince had done some sort of most beautiful girl in the world contest. Apollonia won, and he built like a music group and a career around her. I didn't realize these were the same people or different people. Blown away. I even went and watched a couple interviews, and these girls look, you're right, they look quite a bit alike. I don't know how I would feel if I was Apollonia. I'm sure that's not her government name. I didn't get that deep into my research. It's one thing to be the next in line. It's another to look exactly like the one you've replaced. It's one of those things. Maybe it's just a double-edged sword, but this isn't the first time I've gotten confused over somebody. Case in point, Isla Fisher, Amy Adams. I feel like this is a very common mix-up. They look similar. I think they have different eye colors, but if you're just kind of walking in a room, you see one of them on TV, you don't know which one it is. I'll tell you another one. Katy Perry, Zooey Deschanel. Obviously, one is a pop superstar, one is more of an actress, but if they're not second cousins, I'd be very, very surprised. Another one, you ever watch the show House? Alicia Cuthbert, Jennifer Morrison, twins. Period. Twins. Ain't no way they don't have the same grandfather. If they don't have the same grandfather, their grandfather was a twin, separated at birth from his other one. There's just no way they look that much alike. I hadn't thought about this in a minute, but if you were around my age, you remember when the movie The Babysitter's Club came out? And also She's All That. Rest in peace to Paul Walker. I'm still not over it. I still can't watch Fast 7. Natalie Portman, Rachel Lee Cook. Not so much now. Don't think about them now. Think about them in their child acting days. You could have switched them in and out easily. It would take a few minutes before you notice. Last but not least, Minka Kelly, Leighton Meester. Literal carbon copy. As far as I know, none of these women had to compete for the exact same role. If they did, I mean, one over the other, it is one thing. It's just to have yourself replaced by someone who looks almost identical to you is, I don't know. I feel a little bit of way about it. That's neither here nor there, because this is not a doppelganger episode. This is a love or something like it episode of Falcon Crest. Let us jump in. We start the episode with, I guess, new lovers. Apollonia, I feel so betrayed. I cannot believe Apollonia and Vanity are two different people. Quick little aside, in my research as I'm looking back, Prince was fine. He's such a grown man my whole life. I don't think I ever looked at him like that. Kind of like Joey in Instinct. He was older, so I never really considered him. But I look back now and I'm like, oh my God, Joey was hot the entire time. Prince was fine. He'd been fine his whole life. Standing nothing but like 4 feet and 11 inches from the ground. No shade to the short kings. Prince been fine. I never once thought that until I looked back and I was like, oh, I totally get it. Plus, he's like talented. Neither here nor there. Let's get to Falcon Crest. We find Lance Compson peeking out the window of his new boo's crib. Now, there are 3 gentlemen surrounding his very expensive automobile, dressed exactly like extras from the movie Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo. They also look suspiciously like the gang that Chili D ran in. So I don't know if these are his people from the East Coast trying to blow up his spot, or these are people on break from Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo. They was waiting for the center to open. They happen to be walking down the street. Bada bing, bada boom. They see this car. Chili D, a.k.a. Lance Compson, a.k.a. Lorenzo Lamas, peeks out of the window in his glycerin, hairy chest realness. And he says, hey, back up from my automobile, weirdos, or it's going to be a problem. The 3 gentlemen outside, they don't really want no problem. One of them was a little bit chunky. I think they were just chilling. They were just admiring his automobile. Nobody opened the door or anything, but he needed to let them know, not only am I banging Apollonia, that's my automobile, and I will make your life difficult, young man, if you touch my automobile. And they're like, what you gonna do? He says, me and my 3 ugly brothers are gonna come out there and stump a mud hole in you if you don't move. They immediately decide they don't want smoke. They keep walking to the center so they can meet Turbo and Ozone and pop lock their way to freedom. Anyway, inside, Apollonia has some of the most beautiful lingerie I've ever seen in my life. It's very classy. It's cobalt blue. And it's time to discuss her budding music career because now Lance has a little more power. I had forgotten this, but on the last episode, he had okey-doked his grandmother, which is very difficult to do, into giving him back full possession of the globe. Only it seems like he has no intention of taking it over. He just wants to piss her off a little bit for kicking him and his new exotic-looking boo out of the pool and embarrassing him in front of all of his new musicians' friends. I'm a serious person, Grandma. You're going to take me serious. I also have to say this. I could be loud and wrong. Allegedly. Not allegedly. It is my opinion that Mr. Lorenzo Lamas in this episode seems to be under the influence of something. I'm not saying he's on that stuff. I'm not saying Booger Sugar is in the picture. I am saying there is a sort of confidence that seems to be synthetically enhanced. That's all I'm saying. Allegedly. I don't want to talk crazy because it is my goal to interview him. I'm speaking into existence. It's literally going to happen. I'm not saying you was doped up, but I am saying that you seem a little loosey-goosey in some episodes. You seem a little tighter in others. This one, the whole time I thought, okay, he's... Seems like it was hard to rein him in. That's all I'm saying. Meanwhile, back at the mansion, Angela has to deal with the fact that she's got a man who wants to marry her real, real bad, but he's cramping her style. She's got her life already laid out the way she wants. She's happy because her grandson is about to be back at the helm at the Globe. She's just got to put a few other chess pieces in place and life will be perfect as she knows it, if not for this handsome, wealthy, well-traveled man. He's literally the Dos Equis man. He wants to take her up in a hot air balloon. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, baby. I have things to do. He starts to get a little flustered. She said, don't worry. Take Emma up. Emma is so bored. Emma is so just stir crazy at this point. She considers anything. Dude, I'll go up in a hot air balloon with you. I'd love to. I love floating over the world. Only she don't, though, because she is afraid of heights. But she just needs a little bit of action. I miss super whimsical Emma, but I'm not mad at her new clarity. I gotta say, I'm not in love with the way that Peter runs his life. He is very manhandly. He snatches Emma up and drags her through the house to take her up in a hot air balloon because he's frustrated by his bride-to-be, Angela Channing. You're so stubborn. You're still so stubborn. Apparently, and we learned this later on, they used to date back in the day when they were teenagers. So they've been friends a long time. Or should we say, Angela has been dragging him along for decades. Why should anything change? Speaking of change, I knew something was off. I'm like, what is different? I'm embarrassed that it's taken me this long because I don't know how long this has been going on, but I'm looking at Angela. She has got on this white and yellow stripe. You know, Falcon Crest loves the color yellow. She's got on this white and yellow stripe tunic and skirt combo with shoulder pads, obvi, because it's 1985. But I'm like, why is her hair glistening? It is so healthy. It is shiny. She has combed out her perm. What am I supposed to call her? The Just For Me goddess? The Flat Iron goddess? Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know what Just For Me is, Google it. You'll enjoy it. How's she walking around here with a kitty perm and oil sheen on? I don't know who this is. But whoever she is, she's trying to stick to business. She's lost a little bit of edge without these tight curls. But I mean, when a woman changes her hair, she's about to change her life. I get it. It's also interesting, too. This scene leads you to believe that Angela isn't just opposed to marrying him because it cramps her style. It ruins her day to day. But she feels that they're too much alike. The man was like, girl, why didn't you go in that balloon? She goes, because if I'm in that balloon, we have to discuss the wedding date. I'm not really trying to lock down a date. Reardon, a.k.a. the Manimal, says, I don't even know why you're holding this up at this point. There are worse things you could do. He is rich. He's good looking. He's super into you. And he's going to give you all your property back. What do you have to lose? She's like, we're just too much alike. I'm not trying to fist fight with this man the rest of my life. We're going to be arguing all the time. And somebody's got to lose a fight. The animal leaves her with this question. Is it so wrong to lose a fight? Kind of weird coming from a lawyer, but I'll allow it. Meanwhile, somewhere in the valley, Aunt Harry is trying on very expensive ball gowns while Maggie sits at the side trying to convince her to stop making all these new money moves. Girl, why are you trying to spend all of your cash? Terry wants desperately to loan Maggie and Chase some money. Maggie's like, baby girl, we not broke like that. All I'm saying is that we need a little money for a project. Promise you we're not going to go broke if we don't get the money. It's perfectly fine. Maggie's memory is back intact and she's trying her best to be a good big sister. But Terry's like, listen, baby girl, I'm rich. I'm only getting richer. I need to start spending some money. Otherwise, people aren't going to respect me. She really does need to join Girl Scouts or something. Eagle Scouts. I don't know. She needs a mentor, but it doesn't seem like that's in her future. Maggie tries once again, girl, you don't need to spend your money to make money. I mean, to gain power. Terry says, girl, you must got a little bit of amnesia residue on your brain because I do. This is a valley. This is filled with old money. People need to respect me, and that's the only way they're going to respect me. If I don't make a name for myself, I'm going to be your baby sister my whole life, or I'm going to be Greg Reardon's cast off my whole life. The Manimal's leftovers. I think Terry is tripping a little bit when she says this because she's always the side chick. Even with the Manimal, he was sleeping with Leather Pants Pam the whole time. Also, Apollonia kind of looks like Leather Pants Pam, the first one. Not New Face Leather Pants Pam. I'm still not over this. She sounds like Vanity. I don't even understand how this is a thing. Anyway, Terry tells Maggie that she has a meeting with the artist formerly known as a perm rod goddess and a meeting with Richard Channing. Everybody wants my money, girl. Maggie finally convinces her, I just want you. You're my sister. I don't need nothing. Girl, I would have said, buy me this mink. If you insist on blowing this cash, go ahead and buy me this mink coat, please. In a purse. I need a Louis. Well, Terry does go over to Angela's house to have a little meeting. And surprise, surprise, Angela's like, baby girl, I need to buy your grapes. Terry comes dressed as Pretty Woman, and I respect that she is paying homage to her sisters in hookery. And she basically tells Angela, you don't want that. You don't want my grapes. You just kind of want to beat Chase to the chase. What if I don't want to sell them to you? Angela's like, oh my God, look who learned to read, Greg. Ain't that cute? It is so humiliating that Terry has to sit there with Greg Reardon. But I'm like, that's what happens when you bed hop. It is what it is. Face the music. She holds her own. I'm very proud of her. Terry then drops a bomb and says, Angela, I know what you really want. And everybody wants a little piece of me. Why don't you make it worth my while? Why don't I offer you a little piece of Tuscany Downs? Because this is what's going to happen. I'm about to go eat with Richard and his new lawyer. I'm about to be an owner in that property. So maybe we can work out a little something that's going to be a little more comfortable for the both of us. Angela says, well, if you insist on doing business with Richard, I guess I can't stop you. Bye, baby. Charlie, show this heifer out of my house. Terry is unbothered by being called trash, basically. Actually, what Angela says is, I guess some people play the game and some people are always on the sidelines. Translation, you're a side chick. I expect you to be on the sidelines. That's fantastic. Once Terry leaves, and she has barely turned the corner, the Manimal and Angela start explaining to the audience why Angela would encourage this girl to jump into bed, business-wise at least, with Richard Channing, who we all know she hates. Angela informs the Manimal and the audience that Richard is a cutthroat sumbitch. And if anybody's going to make Terry's life hard, it's going to be Richard. Richard's going to take her for all she's worth. And when she's broke again, she's going to come crawling back to Angela. It's just going to make it that much sweeter. Terry might be making new money moves, but Angela knows old money rules. And she is definitely playing the long game. Aunt Terry does eventually make her way over to Richard's house, and she drops 30 million reasons for him to give her half of his business and all of his respect. She makes it very clear that she's not going to be mellow yellow because she is dressed like a delightful lemon. She makes it clear that she's not a silent partner. She's going to be all up and through that business. And she'd liked him to give her a personal tour through all of the nooks and crannies that she's a little bit less familiar with. This is when Lawyer Jordan, a.k.a. not Marla Maples, jumps in to say, oh, don't worry about that. I'll teach you, girl. Richard ain't teaching you nothing. I got you. This scene was a little bit distracting, not because of the conversation at hand, but because they both have pageant hair. I like Terry's. This is the first time that she had to kind of comb hers out, or maybe she sprayed a little water, a little mousse in it. It looks a little more 80s, and I'm feeling it. But not Marla Maple still has the big pageant hair. It's a little distracting. I don't know when they go for blonde and big bouffant. Maybe that's just to let you know you're a baddie. Maybe the rules are changing just a little bit. They have shoulder length hair, but it's shoulder length hair because it's teased up to high heavens, at least 4.5 inches off of their scalp before it is then flipped up past their shoulders. So while Terry is maybe trying to slide up into something with Richard, Angela is having to push Peter off with both hands. He will not let it go. So they're having dinner one night. He, Emma, and Angela. And he's really trying to lock down a date. Emma says, "Oh my gosh, Mom, the balloon ride was magical. It was wonderful today." Peter scoffs and he's like, "Girl, you had your eyes closed the entire time." Emma's like, "Why are you bringing up old stuff?" Anyway, where is Lance? Angela says he's probably out with those weirdos, implying that Apollonia and the musical type are a bunch of freaks her grandson has no business fraternizing with. Stavros drops a gem I didn't see coming, even bigger than the Apollonia Vanity 6 thing. He says, "Well, do you remember back in the day when we were young teens? We were considered weirdos too. Emma, did you know your mother was the first woman in Tuscany Valley to wear a bikini when she was about 16 years old? And she knew every dance step known to man." What I hear is that Angela Channing, before she was a perm rod goddess, she was the twerk queen of Tuscany Valley. She was throwing that thing in a circle in a bikini. I don't know if she had a perm or not, but I mean, she was doing the things back in the day. She kind of smiled like, "Yeah, I've been a baddie. I've been a baddie for a while." I forgot about that, Peter. Yeah, that's right. I introduced the world to bikini. You know what I'm saying? I'm a trendsetter or whatever. He's like, "Well, why don't you set the trend of being my wife?" "I'm not ready, Peter." He's like, "Well, we don't have to have a big wedding, honey. We can go to Reno." I said, "I'm not ready, Peter." "Okay, we can have a garden party next week and do it there." "I'm not ready, Peter. I don't understand what you don't understand." He goes, "Okay, well, I need you to understand that you have 10 days or me and half of whatever steak I bought in your house are going to Europe. Get it together or leave it alone." With her pride still mostly intact, Angela might have gotten rid of the perm rods. She's not gotten rid of the edge. In an effort to ruin someone else's life, that's how you make that she feels good about herself, she tells Reardon that she's going to go visit Maggie because Maggie has amnesia, and amnesia is just like a blank, fresh piece of paper in someone's mind, and she's going to rewrite history how she sees fit. She's none the wiser that Maggie has gotten most of her memory back, and she knows how scandalous Angela is, but she's like, "Let me put on my usher board outfit." She puts on an all-white dress suit with a cobalt blue turtleneck, so she looks like a real innocent old lady. "Let me go over there and talk to my girl, see if I can destroy a marriage. That'll make me feel better." She is so scandalous, too. She's so scandalous, she's not clocking that Maggie is trying to tell her something. Angela's like, "Girl, I know it must be so hard. You don't know your friends from your enemies. And it must be so hard about your son. He's got 2 ladies living up under his roof. I heard they related. One of them's got his baby. I don't even know which one he's married to, girl. I don't know how you deal with this with your amnesia. And, your husband cheating on you and running around town lying to you. Baby girl, this is tough." Maggie is not old Maggie. Maggie has not been on mommy juice in months. Maggie has dropped any pills she may or may not have parlayed in. She said, "Well, you know what? Something jogged my memory. I feel like every time my husband had a problem, you were behind it. I feel like every time my family was crumbling apart, you were behind it. I feel like you lied about my husband's you perjured yourself to try to get him arrested. I feel like you are his biggest op, Angie. What had happened, Auntie?" She literally calls her Auntie. Angela don't give a damn. She's like, well, the dead has arisen. Look like Miss Goody Two Shoes is back from the memory lost grave. I know I just offered you a room in my house. You can kiss that goodbye. She twitches out of the door. She is shaking that thing. I need you to remember, I'm the twerk queen of Tuscany Valley. I had to embellish. I'm sorry, I had to. Loving the color scheme. Maggie is still in all white. Okay, that's neither here nor there, because on the other side of town, where Maggie used to work, actually not the other side of town, in San Francisco, where she used to be the editor at the Globe for a real quick minute, Richard, Miss Jordan, an old man whose name escapes me, good guy who's just sprinkled in from time to time, editor-in-chief, what's his face, are waiting for Lance to come over and explain himself. Lance comes strolling in. Like I said, he seems to be synthetically calm. I'm not saying it is booger sugar. I'm not saying it is some sort of fermented wine or barley or spirits of some sort. But he comes in and he makes the announcement that, Richard, I am ready and prepared to make you head of the Globe one more again. What you think of that? Richard says, I would think perhaps you might be under the influence of something synthetic. That's kind of a weird thing to offer me. Why the change of heart? Lance is just like, I just changed my mind. I'm just saying, you want the publishing job or no? Richard says, well, what's it going to cost me? Lance wants to trade Richard the Globe for his radio station. This is his brilliant idea to not only stick it to his grandma, but to put Apollonia on the airwaves in San Francisco. I don't know how far this reaches. I really don't know a lot about radio, but this is kind of weird. Doesn't seem like a good idea to me, but whatever. Also, Mr. What's-His-Face says the same thing. He's like, I just work here. I'm just here for the check. As long as the check clears, I don't really care who writes it. Richard says, I don't want to just trade jobs. I want your state in the Globe, and you can have my whole radio station. There's a point where Lorenzo Lamas reaches up to scratch his face. He definitely flips Richard off. 1,000% flips him off, which is why I continue to believe he's under the synthetic influence. But they make a good deal. Once Richard leaves the room with the lawyer lady, who's not Marla Maples, Mr. What's-His-Face is like, what does your grandma think about this? I can't imagine she's not losing her mind. And Lance is like, well, I mean, what happened was I haven't actually told her anything yet. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, she's going to be mad. It is what it is. So while Richard is pumped about owning the Globe again, he's really peeved about being partnered with Aunt Terry. He can't stand that she's rich, and now she's got a little rich fingers all in his business. He's so flustered by this that he decides to tell his dirt dude, the guard who let him get shot. Actually, that was a guy's job. Let me not word it that way. The dirt guard who has agreed to skim a little something off the top from Tuscany Downs, they can't do that no more. Richard lets him know, listen, I got a new partner. I'm not really feeling Terry. I know we're making good money off this little skimming act, but the time is nigh. We got to just drop this whole thing. Okay. Not really sure why. I'll pay attention a little more next episode. Well, Miss Jordan comes around the corner and she was like, did I hear you talking ish about Terry? Richard says, my, what big ears you have. And the only thing I can think is, how could you tell? Because that helmet hair is high and wide. I don't know how you could see anything. You definitely can't see at least 2.3 miles around her if you're within like 2 feet. She quickly lets Richard know, hey, boo, I'm down for whatever you got going. Are you going to tell me about it? He's like, maybe I will, maybe I won't. She's like, well, cool. You keep your secrets. I'll keep mine. But in the meantime, in between time, congratulations. The new Globe is once again yours. He gives a little fake blessing. Bless you, girl. I notice he's not drinking milk all the time. Maybe he's become lactose intolerant since his little accident. He is drinking iced tea like it's going out of style. I love the fact that he stays good and sober. There's something very controlled about that, even though it's a little bit odd in the context of a winery TV show, but it works really well. So while he is basking in the glow of being back at the helm of the Globe, Lance Compson has decided he is going to give Miami Vice a run for their money. He's in a stark white outfit and a blue shirt, just like his grandma, with Apollonia at his side. He's like, look, baby girl, look what I got for us. Loud and wrong again. He's not wearing a blue shirt. It's gray, but it is stark white, his jacket or whatever. He informs Apollonia that this radio station used to be talk radio. They used to deliver the news and crap, but I hate the news. This is about to be a top 40 radio station. She's like, oh my God, you're a genius. I'm going to need one of you guys to explain this to me. If you were alive during this time and you were in radio, that would be extra awesome. I feel like radio was such a thing. It's very much regional, right? I mean, there might be a few nationally syndicated shows, but I didn't realize I don't know. Maybe you got to be popular in one market and it spreads to another. I don't know if it's a good idea. I feel completely out of my element thinking about this. I really, really don't know, because most of the music I encountered, yes, I heard it on the radio, but there's also MTV. There's Much Music. There's different things like that. There was the internet. You know what I'm saying? So please enlighten your girl. This is a great time to remind you, if you are enjoying the show, feel free to leave a review. If you want to say, hey, Jet, I got some information. You said this, but this is what had really happened. You can drop me a line the old fashioned way via email at soaplorepodcast@gmail.com. That's SOAPLOREPODCAST@gmail.com. Or you can leave a note. You can send me a text. Check the show notes for a link that says send us a text. Let me know what's on your mind. And explain to me how radio stations worked circa 1985. I don't know. This doesn't seem like it's going to be that far reaching, but maybe it is. If Dallas is known for its family tension, deep-seated hatred that has to work with each other, and Dynasty is known for its flash, its glamour, its camp, and zingy one-liners, and Knots Landing is known for its all the things that they're not saying, all the things that are bubbling right below the surface, then Falcon Crest is known for its cinematic features and for its shameless supervillain moments. Case in point, our perm rod goddess has been ghostwriting a Gotham City phantom whip all this time. We've never doubted, not for one moment, that she was a supervillain. And when you think of a supervillain in the way I'm thinking of it, I'm thinking Gotham City. I'm thinking Mojo Jojo. I am thinking cartoon, I'm going to block out the sun with my super ray laser beam type stuff. Falcon Crest has gone back to his roots. So we have our good sister, Angela Channing, hosting yet another person in her house. This time it is one of the councilmen who is not necessarily friends with Chase, but he is one of his colleagues. She says, you know what, Councilman No Name, I think the valley needs a new irrigation system. He shook because he said, well, you said last year that was a really dumb idea and you shot it down. You told me not to ever vote on that. She says, well, I must have changed my mind between last year and today, and I think we need some more water in this summit. And he's like, okay, well, if that's what you want me to do, you say jump, I say how high. She said, bet. Okay, cool. So I have no problem with a water system so long as the dam is in the right place. And I believe my nephew had mentioned putting a dam somewhere. And he goes, let me guess. Councilman No Name says, let me guess. You want the dam right on top of Chase's vineyard. Make this make sense to me. How you build a dam on a vineyard? From where? Wouldn't you have to rewrite? Girl, boy, sir, madam, we're just going to go with it. Angela literally wants to poison the water. She wants to build the Hoover Dam on top of Connie Giannini, a.k.a. Chase's vineyard, to drown it out. To hell with the grapes she may or may not need at a later point. She just needs him out of there. She's on her supervillain arc, and this is what we're going to do. He's like, fine, cool. You know your nephew gonna show out when he figure out what happened. She's like, let me worry about that. Sure enough, Chase, the aviator Adonis, is blindsided when during one of their boring councilman meetings, Councilman No Name jumps up with a map with a big blue water stripe in the middle of it and says, this is where we need to put this dam. We're going to reroute this here river, and it's going to accumulate right here on top of Chase's land. Y'all know Chase. Chase is a hothead. He immediately jumps up. He starts going off. I know you lying. I know you're not trying to build a dam on my property. He's like, man, just calm down. Calm down. It's for the good of the valley, Chase. We will, we'll bring it before the council and before a bunch of people tomorrow. So Chase has just enough time to threaten this man's life before he leaves for the day. I know what you're doing. I know I can smell the rat all over you. I'm going to let you know. I'm going to stomp a mud hole in you. Let me find out that my auntie had anything to do with this and you her hand puppet again. I'm going to make sure I stomp a mud hole in you. The other the other councilmen and women have things to do. There's food to be eaten. There's movies to be watched. There's wine to be drank. Can we please continue this tomorrow morning? Chase like, all right, bet. I'm going to be back. I'm going to be back tomorrow. I'm going to make sure. And also, you can kiss your councilman seat. Goodbye, Councilman No Name. Councilman No Name was like, all right, you know what it is. Fat meat greasy, Chase. Sorry. Oh, I love this show. I love this show. Okay, so the next day comes, and Chase is so pissed. He is just aggravated beyond belief because in order to have this motion passed or whatever, they have to open up the floor to some citizens who may or may not have influence, just allowing people the opportunity to come to the mic and state their case. Well, Councilman Castillo, aka Councilman No Name, says, I just want to open the floor to one of our long-standing, most distinguished citizens. Chase already knows who it is, Miss Angela Channing. This fool drops back in his seat. He gives the best I can't stand you wench face. And all I can think is, this is too good. I know this man is a trained actor. He is a thespian. But I can't help but think to myself, I wonder if they had just had a fight off screen. If this grown man and this grown woman are having these sort of silent, very petty, inconsequential contests between one another, were they outside measuring each other's trailer? Are they stealing each other's hair products or scalping each other's hairstylists? Oh, she blew her stuff out because I blew my hair out. Oh, he blew his hair out because I blew my hair out. I just know they're petty. And I love it even more that Jane Wyman comes sliding into there like she's on Toddlers and Tiara, just switching like a baddie. She floats up to the mic and gives this whole BS speech. Basically saying, I understand it's hard to be broke and borrowing land and stuff, but those of us OGs who've been out here, who are genuine and authentic wine vineyard owner people, we know the risks. You know what I'm saying? We've been through it. We done seen it all, and me included especially. Now, I know this might upset my baby nephew over here. He might feel a way about it, but this is for the good of the valley. I don't do this for myself. I got very little to say. I'm not up here talking like y'all, you know what I'm saying? But this is for the good of the valley. It has nothing to do with nothing. She gives a little everybody claps her up. She, hey baby, she's waving, she's shaking babies and kissing hands. Has a seat, and before you know it, that seemed to be the magic bullet. Councilman, it is time to vote. Who says nay? This is whack. Let's let this be a thirsty valley. Consequences be damned. Chase proudly shoots his hands up in the air. Me, and me. 3 people vote yes. Shoot this crap down. All in favor? 4 people raised their hand, and that's all she wrote. Chase is big pissed. And it makes it all the more tasty to know that they really didn't mess with each other like that in real life. Also in this scene, I believe, allegedly, that Maggie is back on her mommy juice. She's got that look in her eyes again. It's glossed over. You know what I'm saying? Her and Lance might have had a meeting. Maybe had an edible or something before they showed up. Whoops, loud and wrong again. There's only 5 people on the council, which is kind of odd. But 2 said no, Chase and his homeboy. 3 said yes. So once it's all said and done, Counselor No Name comes strolling over to Chase and, listen, don't take that personal, my guy. It's just business. Chase says, you're corrupt. People can be just as corrupt as their leaders. I'm not surprised. You won't get away with this. Councilman No Name says, but I just did. Angela never wanted to pass up an opportunity to be petty. As the courtroom is clearing out, she's walking by and she sees Maggie and Cole sitting there. She's like, hey, great nephew. Hey, niece. I didn't know y'all was here. Maggie says, cut the crap. You always love to have your family around when you emasculate one of them. And Perma says, well, damn. I love you too. It's like that, Maggie? It's like that, Maggie? Damn. I thought we was cool. We're going to get into one little last chunk of business before we get into the absolute best part of the show. So we're at the end of the episode, and Lance, the brand new owner of a radio station, decides the best way to celebrate is to take his favorite new lady, Apollonia, and his favorite old lady, his auntie, his TT, to a country and western bar completely decked out with a Confederate flag in the middle of it. It's very authentic. Now, Apollonia, I feel so betrayed. Makes sense. If I'm being honest, when she was singing with the Britney Spears mic, I didn't love the song. I'm like, okay, it could have been better. It could have been better. But it makes sense to me now. I'm not hating on the girl. I just understand now why there might be a little bit of a difference. Anyway, they're at this country and western bar, and it is thick. There are dozens and dozens of people in there. Everybody looks like they just came off the Cowboy Carter tour, except for Lance, who seems to be very drunk and or high. And they're having this conversation, and Emma's like, y'all know what? Y'all don't even understand it. I sure appreciate you, baby. Appreciate you, nephew, taking auntie out. I got to get out that house, y'all. I can't seem to find a man. Do you know my mother is 1,016 years old and she has to fight men off her tooth and nail? I can't find nobody to marry. I can't find nobody to date me. As she's saying all this, from across the bar, a hottie McHotster is staring her down. I judged him because it looks like he piss poorly cut his sleeves off of his shirt. Let's just say this. We're all adults here. You gonna have a good time. This ain't gonna be a long time. Go and have you a little fun real quick, Emma. The dude is staring her down, and Apollonia is like, girl, do you see homeboy over there by the bar? Emma looks over. He makes eyes at her. She's like, no, girl, he must be looking at you. She said, no, he looking at you. He looking at you. Lance looks over. He agrees. He's totally okay with it right now. So the cowboy comes over to Emma and they start dancing. And within 13 and a half seconds, they're all but totally in love with each other. This is perfect because while the new lovebirds are getting to know each other over this really whack soundtrack, Apollonia is like, yo, do you think this country and Western Confederate flag flaunting band would let me get up there and sing a new song with them? And Lance is like, Avi, go ahead and bust out. Give the audience what the people want. We all want to hear a country and western hit. So she does just that. She jumps up there and gives her best Afton, aka Afternoon Delight, Cooper from Dallas. And I have to admit, I like it better than the other song she sang. It's also worth mentioning that they're doing that thing they did to Morticia Addams in the Addams Family movie where she's just lit just by her eyes for Apollonia. I would love to know some behind the scenes with that. She is a deeper complected woman in a dark room. I wonder if that's just one of the tricks they do. I know with a lot of films, if you have a deeper skin tone, there's got to be adjustment made to lighting, especially considering that what's her name? Emma is wearing stark white. So she is the first person you see. These women wear a lot of crisp white going out in public and stuff. Like, I would be afraid a waitress is going to drop coffee on me or the chips and salsa was going to ruin my whole night. Yeah, they're bold. But I guess if you're not going to eat, it doesn't really matter. I don't think I did a good job of describing this. Emma meets this luscious meathead. They begin to fall in love. Like I said, 13 seconds, not joking, 13 to 20 seconds. Lance walks over to the Confederate band. He hands them a piece of sepia paper, which is not only the lyrics, but it must be the music for Apollonia's fresh new country and western hit. Captain of the band says, you're going to pay us $500 to let this here little lady sing her new song? Lance is like, yeah, and you'll get credit for helping find her. Just saw the lyrics, just saw the music, and it's on sepia paper. A single, maybe there's 2 sheets of paper. Why are these people able to sing? I'm talking from the time the music hits this man's hand. She hops over the pony wall, begins to sing. It's all of 5.5 seconds. They know all the lyrics, the rhythm, all the way, all the licks to this song. Soap tax, soap tax, soap tax. The song is basically, I like a man who likes to wear western wear boots and sing the song. He likes to eat hay and he drinks his beer and he scratches his balls along. He's a singing about my limousine and western wear. I like to dance and I like curl my hair. I like a man who likes boots and cowboys. Girl, okay, it's cute or whatever. It is all quite impressive. Well, While the crowd is feeling the music, Lance is eating the dog mess out of whatever peanuts are available at the table, chasing it with beer. Emma is being flipped up and rubbed down on the dance floor, and within 30 seconds, she has decided it is a good idea to go home with Cowboy No Name. Meanwhile, Apollonia is killing it. Just give me sweet country loving. I love cowboys and ovens. Put a baby in my oven 'cause I love you. It is fantastic. Well, before you know it, Emma has scooted out the door. Lance is none the wiser, and by the time he realizes he is stuck with an impossible choice, a Sophie's choice, if you will. Do I chase after my auntie who's loved and raised me practically? Or do I stay here and support Apollonia in this Confederate country western bar? We'll find out on the next episode. Okay, seriously? Listen. The best part of the show is Pastor Panty Droppers and Bad Girl Melly Mel. The first time we get to see Bad Girl Melly Mel, she is fresh out the shower. She's in her room at her vanity, minding her own business, combing out her hair, just trying to get started with the day. In comes cousin pregnant Robin. She's like, "What do you want, Red Robin?" Red Robin informs Melissa and the audience that, "Well, I just wanted to check on you. Cole and I didn't see you when we came back from Lamaze class last night. Where you been, girl?" Melissa says, "In my skin. I jump out and you jump in. Why are you asking?" She doesn't say that. I'm sorry. I got beside myself. Let me stick to the plot. Melissa says, "Well, I was talking to Father Christopher." Pastor Penny Droppers. Robin says, "Well, confession is so good for the soul." Melissa's getting more and more agitated as this thing goes on. She's like, "You know what? You lucky for the 2 P's in your life. You lucky you pregnant. You lucky I'm on parole. The only reason I go to confession is so I don't beat you down, basically. It's court ordered. I got to do it. What are you implying, sister?" Again, I might be embellishing just a little bit. So Robin says, "Girl, when Cole and I were at Lamaze class night, they put on a film and it was somebody giving birth. It was horrible, girl. I am terrified. Please tell me giving birth to a baby ain't nearly as scary as that." Melissa softens a little bit. She has a little bit of sympathy and she's like, "Girl, I ain't gonna even hold you. Let me tell you, when I was giving birth to Joseph, I literally thought I was going to die. I was 2.5 breaths away from death. The doctor finally, after like a full night of labor, rips Joseph from my wound, and I felt so relieved to see his purple, angry, bloated little face. It made everything worth it. Don't regret it at all. It'll totally be worth it when you push out that baby." She's not being insensitive. She was actually trying to be sensitive in that moment. But then Robin reminds her, "Well, girl, at least you got to keep your baby. I don't get to keep my baby." And you start to see this look on Melissa's face like, yeah, well, I guess I didn't really consider that. I've been so mad about you banging my husband and all the little trickery stuff you're doing behind my back. I forgot that you actually have to give up a child when this is all said and done. Jet here does not believe that girl's giving up that baby under any circumstances. I don't see it happening. Hopefully there's going to be a blood test. I question whether or not it's Cole's, but I definitely don't think she's going to go quietly into the night. Don't see that happening. Anyway, I guess to do double duty, kill 2 birds with 1 stone, if you will, Melissa invites Pastor Panty Droppers to the park with she and baby Joseph. Baby Joseph is, he's great with adults. He doesn't mind a little extra company. Plus, this guy's a priest. Perfectly normal. So they're at the park. And she's just basically thanking him for taking the time to see her on such short notice. Baby Joseph says, "Hey, y'all want to see something? Watch these legs. I'm finna be Lightning McQueen on y'all." So he takes off running. Father Christopher's like, "Yeah, go ahead and run. I'll time you." Joseph runs to the slide and he's like, "Oh my gosh, dude, you broke the record." It's really sweet. It's very endearing. Melissa thinks so too. They sit on the bench and she tells him he'd be a great father. But then she remembers instantly, "Oh, I guess you are a father," kind of, ha ha ha. She confides in him that she's struggling, tells him how much she loves baby Joseph. And, that's kind of natural. That was very easy, but she's not sure she's going to be able to love this other baby. This is her cousin's baby. She already feels such a way about the way this baby came to be. So she's like, do you really think I'll be able to love this other child? And Father, God, this is the thing. Gosh, this is so distracting. Can I just say, without judgment, guys, I really like him. I really like him. I can tell this guy's a good actor, number one, but he's so, it would be so easy to have him be like overtly attracted to her. It's clear that he is, but he is so steadfast in being first and foremost, a good support system for her. And number two, just a good person that he's very, very good at not crossing that line. And you can tell her guard is down around him. I think I like him because you get to see Bad Girl Melly Mel sort of unfold into this just regular wounded girl. She's just a girl who was in love and now has to deal with the consequences of being too eager in this situation. She bit off more than she can chew. She's done so many negative things and he literally is not holding it against her. And it just sort of opens her up. So she says, do you think I will ever be able to really love this baby? And he's like, of course you will. Look at how good of a mother you are to Joseph. You just said you loved his little legs. You found little things about him that you love. You're going to be able to do the same thing with this baby. Like, just don't doubt yourself. You got this. But he says it in such a way, like, you really believe him. Like, dang, you right. She hates Robin. She hates her husband practically at this point. She gonna hate that baby. But let Pastor Panty Dropper say, hey, listen, girl, you a good woman with a good heart. You gonna find good things about this baby. You believe it. So as she meditates on this, you can tell she's one night in bed, she can't sleep because she's so upset. She's crying. She's shedding tears. Cole is topless next to her. I say topless, not to be ugly, but I had kind of forgot about his chesticle run. We hadn't seen him baby oiled up in a little bit, so I have forgot that Cole is being pushed to the forefront as a sex symbol more and more. But he's sleeping topless. And he's rustling in bed. This fool has the nerve to shout out, Robin, Robin, in his sleep, which is so insulting because, it's not even like on the front of his mind. It's in his subconscious. It's on his heart. Now, Melissa, like I said, she's in tears. So she says, no, it's not Robin. It's your wife. It's your wife. He's like, oh, my bad. I had this dream that I couldn't get to Robin. Robin was in labor and there was a flood and I couldn't get to her. What's up, baby? You crying? She's like, yeah, I'm crying. I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time sleeping. He says, well, talk to me. What's going on? And she confides in him that she remembers a rainy evening right after they got married. It was she and him and baby Joseph chilling in front of a fire. It was just beautiful. It was just them. She had her marriage. She had her family. And he's like, yeah, I remember that. We'll have that again. Don't worry. Basically trying to reassure her that this is an odd time. It does not change what we have going on between the two of us. We're still a family. And she's like, no, Cole, I'll never feel that safe again. And this is a moment I realized, okay, it's not just that this baby is coming and that it's from a mistake. It's from her coercing her It is from her convincing her cousin that it was cool to bang her husband. It's more than that. She's lost a safe place. She does not have a family outside of this family. Not at all. And the one other person who understands that is Father Christopher. After all, he just found out that he has a family. He's had a family his whole life, only he's had to live like an orphan. Melissa has had a small family her whole life, had it all wiped away, and it continues to be removed. Never mind the fact that it is her fault. It hurts either way. And I think she and Cole are separating through that, and she and Father Christopher are being drawn to each other through that. Cole tries to comfort her. He's like, I worry too, honey, don't worry. I worry we're going to drift apart. And he starts trying to make something happen. So he's kissing shoulders and stuff. He's like, you know what I'm saying? Why don't we go and come together right now? And she's like, nah, it's late. You know what I'm saying? It's late. He's like, you never said that before. Well, it's late. I don't know what to tell you. So on the flip side of this, Pastor Panty Droppers has reconnected with his sister in a fully platonic way. I realize I probably shouldn't have run into one scene in the other. I should have broken it up a little differently. But Cassandra Wilder is embracing the fact that she has a big brother and she digs him. Christopher just wants to know what it was like, what their dad was like. Cassandra lost him so young. She only has a little bit of a memory. So she's like, on one hand, I loved my dad. He was this amazing man. But also, I lost him so young. I have more hurt than I do great memories. My whole life up until now has been about avenging his death and just dealing with the pain of losing him by avenging him. It just feels so funny now. So I don't know what's worse. I don't know if it's worse to be the daughter who had a father and lost him, or to be the son who never knew him. I can't really say one way or another, brother, but I can give you this. I can give you this beautiful photograph of our father, and you remind me so much of him. It's kind of, sort of. I really fully expected Falcon Crest to just dress Pastor Panty Droppers up as an old man with a thick mustache. Give him a Mario mustache and call it a day. They didn't. They found a picture of someone else from back in the day, and he's grateful for it. Cool, right? So there's all these emotions. I found a family. Melissa feels like she's losing a family. I'm finding purpose in life. Melissa feels like she's losing it. They're coming towards the end of these court-ordered sessions. And it's very clear, at least on Melissa's end, that feelings are there. So, near the episode's end, Father Christopher is either Ubered there in a car or he drives. I don't know if he knows how to drive. It seems like he might have got out of the driver's side of the Cadillac or the back. I don't know. It's irrelevant. They're at that pond everybody likes to be at on Falcon Crest, and they're under the gazebo, and Melissa is waiting there because she's had an entire night to think about her feelings. She's had an entire night to put voice to said feelings. She's all sentimental, saying, do you know that exactly 2 months ago, almost to the minute, I saw some hot jean-clad wife beater and ascot wearing dude on my property trying to divvy up the people on my land, basically trying to screw me out of money. It's the first time you and I ever met. He's like, I remember that you wanted to kick me off property. She's like, that was then, this is now. I would never kick you off now. As she says it, he's looking at her like, okay, oh God, hold it together. Look, hold it together. So they're looking out over the land. She's like, you know what? One day this is all going to belong to Joseph. Pastor Panty Dropper's like, and his brother or sister. She's thinking to herself, she wonders if her kids are going to fight over this land. And it's clear that she's just, God, is any of this worth it? Is it really worth it? Christopher goes on to say, well, I don't see what the big deal is. She's like, well, land is power, it's money, it's a place to belong for all time. Like it's basically safety, it's some sort of security. He admits that he doesn't know much about money or power, but he definitely understands having a place to belong. He wish he could figure out the rest of the money, cause he's a priest, so he's hearing all the confessions, all the backbiting, all the backstabbing when it comes to this property and why everybody's fighting over it. It's just a mess. And she's like, I hope you were never burdened with that. We learn in this scene that this gazebo was built by Melissa's dad when she was 16, and it is her favorite place on earth. She wanted Pastor Panty Droppers there to commemorate their 2 months of knowing each other and 60 days, give or take, of the birth of a revelation for her. They're both dancing around something. But because they have such a good relationship, they're able to keep the conversation moving. This is when Melissa's like, let me put on my big girl panties and confess one more time to Pastor Panty Droppers. Christopher, I need to tell you something. But before I do, I got a question. Is it worth to just pretend like you don't feel something? Or should you just tell the truth and risk hurting someone? He looks a little bit nauseous, a little bit excited, and a whole lot worried because it's not lost on him what she may say. He knows she's about to drop a bomb, and if they go past this moment, there is no such thing as pretending it didn't happen. Let's dance around this thing. We can both dance around this. We've been doing it for 2 months. But if you say what you need to say, it's going to change everything. The look on his face is like, it's so, God, he wants her to say it, but he doesn't want her to say it. I'm literally holding my breath as I'm watching this. This is the best. This is bad girl Melly Mel at her best because she's actually not being bad here. She's just a baddie being herself. And damn it, if it doesn't cause tension. He starts breathing funny. He's like, Melissa, you know that's a trick question. You know that. She gathers herself, goes from looking down to right in his eyes, and she says, I don't love my husband anymore. I love someone else. And as she starts to say, and I want, he's like, no, Melissa, no, don't say it. Don't say it. And they stand there in breathless anticipation, like, are you going to let me say it? Why don't you want me to say it? And he's like, oh my God, if you say it, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what you're going to do. Oh my God. Okay, love this so much. This is what I'm talking about. This is why you have to play outside or out of sight, because my stories are on and I don't know what's going to go down. I don't know if there's going to be a kid. And this is the thing. Although, yes, they're moving sort of fast and Nicole and Melissa deterioration of the relationship is, it is what it is. I believe them so hard. It's because he's not actually allowing himself to go there. And the thing about Melly Mel, she's a bad girl and a baddie. Note the distinction. So normally she would push through, but he's putting up a wall. She's respecting it every time. He knows, I think, right time, right place. He have a little bit too much communion wine one night. That's a wrap. It's a wrap for everybody. But also, I don't know how long they're going to do this little dance, and I am loving it. Love a slow burn. I'm a little concerned that it's just on episode 7, though. Yeah, I don't know. But, I mean, in true Falcon Crest, I got to trust the process. If anybody knows how to set up a series, how to set up a story, I know they're going to do well on this. But, oh my gosh, this was so good. This was so good, where I cackled and had a great time on Dynasty. And then on Knots Landing, I had to look at Abby out of my side eye like, oh, okay, I've been underestimating you. Bad girl Melly Mel being fully subdued has never been on my bingo card, but I am here for it. Oh, I don't know if Pastor Panty Droppers is going to flip to the past. I feel like it'll have to be some sort of, I don't know, they'll get trapped in a well, or I don't know, bumps his head or something. I don't know. Time will tell, because he's seen her in a bikini. He has seen her at her worst. He knows all her deep, dark secrets. Father Bobby already told him she's the baddest baddie in all of the valley, next to Angie Channing, who was the first woman to twerk in her bikini in Tuscany Valley. Shout out to her. Oh, it's an interesting time on Falcon Crest. Birds of a feather are no longer flocking together. People are changing up their hair. Partners are getting back together. Partners are separating. It is an interesting time, and I can't wait for more. All right, guys, that's it. That's all. Thank you so much for joining me on this fantastic episode of Falcon Crest. I hope you had as good a time as I did. Remember, you can always reach out to me in the show notes. Send me a text. I will definitely shout you out. Or you can send me an email at soaploorpodcast@gmail.com. That's SOAPLOREPODCAST@gmail.com. In the meantime, in between time, if you're out at a country and western bar and a cowboy with a cutoff top comes up to you, make sure you tap your girl on the shoulder and be like, hey girl, run out in the parking lot and get this man's license plate, please, lest I end up on the first 48. Stay hydrated, stay moisturized, mind your own business, and keep all of your drama on TV.